Welcome to another deep dive, and today we'll be exploring Terry Pratchett's Equal Rites, a
Okay.
world on the back of a giant turtle where magic gets a serious shakeup.
Yeah.
So picture this, a dying wizard accidentally bequeaths his staff
Uh,
to a baby girl,
oh, wow.
Escarina Smith instead of a male heir.
Okay.
This throws distilled norms into chaos,
I can imagine.
setting Esk on a collision course with the all-male world of wizardry.
Huh. Very interesting.
What's striking is that the staff itself chooses Esk.
Oh, yeah? How does that happen?
It leaps into her cradle,
Really?
almost as if defying the wizard's intentions.
Wow.
It's like Pratchett is saying destiny has its own plans, regardless of societal rules.
Fascinating.
Then there's Granny Weatherwax, a force of nature in Discworld's magical community.
Oh, yeah. She's a great character.
She takes Esk under her wing, but she's not exactly thrilled about training a female wizard.
Right.
Granny Weatherwax personifies the internal struggle many face when tradition clashes with a changing world.
Yeah.
She believes in the old ways where women are witches
Yeah.
and men are wizards,
Mm-hmm.
but Esk's raw power challenges everything she thought she knew.
So we see this power manifest pretty early on.
Yes.
Like when Esk accidentally turns her brother into a pig.
Oh yeah, that's a classic scene.
It's humorous, but it also highlights the unpredictable nature of her magic.
And how it disrupts Discworld's carefully fined boundaries.
Exactly. That pig incident is crucial because it shows that Esk's magic isn't learned.
It's just there.
It's instinctive, almost primal.
Right.
It makes you wonder, where does magic come from, and can it be contained by these arbitrary rules?
Good question.
Granny faces a real dilemma.
Yeah.
Esk needs formal training,
Right.
but the only place to get it is the unseen university,
Which is,
a bastion of male magical dominance
that's right.
that's never admitted a female student.
Wow, their journey to the unseen university.
Oh, yeah.
It's a study in contrasts.
It really is.
You have Granny, a practical, rural witch, thrust into the chaos of Ankh-Morpork,
Oh, man.
with all its eccentricities.
It's a clash of cultures that
Yeah.
highlights the barriers Esk will have to overcome.
It really does, and along the way they encounter the Zoom,
The Zune?
a race known for their absolute honesty.
Right.
They're captivated by Esk's magic.
What is it about her magic that they like?
Specifically her ability to create spirkles,
Sparkles.
stones with a unique spiral pattern.
Okay.
What do you make of their fascination?
Well, the Zune's reaction is intriguing
Why?
because it hints at something beyond traditional wizardry.
Okay.
They actually refer to Esk's power as sorcery,
Sorcery.
suggesting it's wilder and less controlled. Makes you think, could there be multiple forms of magic operating on the disc,
Oh, that's interesting.
each with its own rules?
Right.
Then we come to Simon.
Yes, Simon.
This young, awkward wizard in training who travels with Esk.
Yeah.
He struggles with traditional magic, but excels when he abandons the rigid formulas.
Interesting. And simply believes that anything is possible.
Huh.
His accidental silencing of the entire unseen university.
Really?
That's a pivotal moment.
Wow, how does that happen?
He achieves this not through rigorous study, but pure, unadulterated belief in the impossible.
Just believe it.
Yeah, it throws a wrench into the wizard's emphasis on control and order,
Huh.
suggesting there might be alternative, perhaps even more potent ways to wield magic.
So his success almost undermines the Unseen University's entire system.
Yeah.
What do you think this says about how we approach learning and knowledge in our own world?
Well,
Are we too focused on rigid structures and missing out on the power of unconventional thinking?
it's a question worth considering.
Yeah.
This unconventional thinking is put to the test
How so?
when Esk and Simon stumble into the dungeon dimensions,
The dungeon
a
dimensions.
dangerous, otherworldly realm.
Okay, so things are getting really intense now.
They are.
Remember those creatures the Zune mentioned?
Yeah.
Lurking in the depths?
Right.
Well, they're very real. Oh, no.
And they've taken a particular interest in Esk's staff.
Why her staff?
These creatures existing outside the wizard's understanding of magic
Right.
embody the unknown and the potential for power that defies their neat categories.
I see.
They represent the limitations of relying solely on tradition and established knowledge.
Makes sense.
So this encounter forces Eden and Simon to rely on their instincts and ingenuity.
Right.
It's a pivotal moment because it's Esk's unconventional,
Yeah.
almost instinctive magic that saves the day.
Oh, wow.
Her success, where traditional wizardry falters,
Uh-huh.
highlights the limitations of a system that excludes those with different approaches and abilities.
Yeah, this challenge to the established order is at the heart of equal rights.
Right.
By defying the rules and succeeding in the dungeon dimensions, Esk is cracking the foundation of the Unseen University's authority.
Wow. And that challenge is about to come to a head as Esk finally confronts the unseen university
She does.
and demands her right to study magic.
Wow, what happens?
But will they be ready to embrace change
Right.
and accept a female student?
That's the question.
The university's response will reveal whether institutions can adapt to challenges
Right.
or remain tethered to outdated traditions.
Right.
What does this tell you about our own institutions and their capacity for change?
It makes you think.
We'll explore that question as we continue our deep dive into equal rights. The unseen university, with its towers and traditions,
Uh-huh.
it represents more than just a school of magic.
What do you mean?
It's a symbol of power and authority,
Okay.
and Esk's arrival.
Yeah.
It's like a seismic tremor shaking its foundations.
I see.
Her very presence challenges their belief system.
How so?
The idea that magic is a male domain,
Right.
it forces them to confront a reality they've long denied.
Which is,
That power doesn't discriminate based on gender,
you'd think they'd know that by now.
and you can bet that not everyone welcomes this change.
Of course not.
We see this resistance play out in subtle ways,
Like what?
even as Esk is granted entry.
Right.
There's skepticism and prejudice lurking beneath the surface.
Oh, I bet.
It's a reminder
Of
of
what?
that institutional change is a process,
Uh-huh.
not just a singular event.
Right.
Even when barriers are broken,
Yeah.
the attitudes and biases that build those barriers,
Right.
they can linger,
Yeah.
creating new obstacles for those who dare to be different.
It's so true.
In this struggle, Granny Weatherwax,
Yeah.
she emerges as a vital figure.
In what way?
She doesn't just secure Esk a place at the university and then walk away.
What does she do?
She becomes a constant presence,
Oh, wow.
a shield against those who would undermine Esk's position.
She's like a guardian.
Granny embodies the spirit of those who fight for equality,
Yeah.
those who refuse to let tradition stand in the way of progress.
It's like she understands
What?
that breaking down barriers is only the first step.
Okay.
The real challenge is creating a space where those who were once excluded
Yeah.
can truly thrive.
And Granny's not alone in this fight.
Oh, who?
Simon, too,
Seema.
despite his awkwardness and self-doubt,
Yeah,
he becomes a crucial ally to Esk.
that's great.
Their bond is built on a shared sense of being outsiders,
Right.
of not quite fitting into the rigid mold of the unseen university.
I see.
Their friendship highlights the importance of finding common ground
Mm-hmm.
with those who challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that solidarity and support can be powerful forces for change.
They really can be.
Now let's circle back to that idea of sorcery
Sorcery.
we touched upon earlier.
Right.
Those creatures in the dungeon dimensions,
Uh,
drawn to Esk's staff,
Okay.
they seem to represent a different, wilder form of magic.
Interesting.
What do you think Pratchett is trying to convey with this?
Well, those creatures,
Yeah,
they embody the aspects of magic
okay.
that the Unseen University tries so hard to control and categorize.
Uh-huh.
They represent the untamed, the intuitive,
Okay.
the power that exists outside of textbooks and rigid formulas.
So in a way, they symbolize the potential
What potential?
for magic to be something more
Then what?
than just a tool of power
Okay.
or a means to an end.
Interesting.
And that idea ties back to Esk's own magic,
How so?
which is often described as instinctual and intuitive,
Uh-huh.
in contrast to the more structured approach of the wizards.
Exactly. Esk's magic, like
Right.
sorcery, challenges the Unseen University's rigid worldview.
Right.
It forces them to consider the possibility of
Of what?
that their understanding of magic is incomplete,
Okay.
that there might be other ways of tapping into this power,
Okay.
ways that they've long dismissed or ignored.
It's as if Esk represents a bridge
Between what?
between these two worlds.
Yeah,
The structured magic of the wizard
right.
and the wilder, more intuitive sorcery.
Makes sense.
Do you think that's why she poses such a threat to them?
Absolutely. Esk embodies a potential for change,
Okay.
a possibility of a magic that transcends the boundaries of
Yeah.
the Unseen University.
Right.
She represents a force that they can't control,
Uh-huh.
a power that operates outside their rules.
Right.
And that's what makes her both fascinating and dangerous in their eyes.
And that's what makes equal rights so compelling.
Why?
It challenges us to examine our own assumptions of the power,
Okay,
knowledge, and the nature of tradition.
right.
It invites us to consider the limitations
Of what?
of rigid structures
Uh-huh.
and the possibilities that open up
When we do what?
when we embrace different perspectives
Right.
and ways of knowing.
So the ending of the book,
Yeah.
it doesn't offer neat resolutions.
Okay.
It leaves us with a sense that Esk's journey is just beginning.
I can see
That
that.
the Unseen University,
Yeah.
and perhaps even Discworld itself,
Right.
will never be the same.
And that's what makes the ending so powerful.
Why?
It's a reminder that real change takes time and persistence.
It does.
It's not about achieving a singular victory.
Right.
It's about creating a world where Those victories are no longer necessary.
Because...
The barriers have truly crumbled.
Right. So as Esk navigates this new world,
Yeah.
how do you envision her journey unfolding?
Well,
Will she be able to reshape the unseen university from within, or will she be forced to create a new path altogether?
those are good questions, and they connect to our own world.
How so?
What can we learn from Esk's struggle
Yeah.
to find her place
Uh-huh.
in a system that was never designed for her?
Right. How can we challenge the institutions and traditions that limit us
Yeah, it's a great point.
and the potential of those around us?
We'll delve deeper into those questions
Okay.
as we continue our deep dive into equal rights.
Right.
But first, let's take a moment to reflect
On what?
on what we've explored so far.
Okay.
What resonates with you most strongly?
Hmm.
What insights or connections have you made
Okay.
to your own experiences and observations?
Take a moment to consider these questions.
Yes.
Before we move on to our final exploration
Right.
of this fascinating and thought-provoking book.
Right.
What new possibilities emerge when we dare to question the rules?
Yes.
And imagine a world where magic and perhaps even equality
Right.
are not bound by tradition.
It's fascinating how Pratchett uses the unseen university,
Yeah,
this seemingly stuffy institution,
right.
to explore the complexities of knowledge and education.
Yeah, they're focused on the rote memorization
Right.
and ancient texts.
It feels almost at odds with the raw, unpredictable nature of magic.
The university represents a very specific way of understanding the world,
In what way?
one that values control, order,
Uh-huh.
and adherence to established rules.
Right.
It's a system that really struggles to accommodate those who think differently,
Okay.
who tap into magic in ways that defy categorization.
And Esk's arrival throws a wrench into their carefully calibrated system.
It does.
Her intuitive grasp of magic,
Right.
her willingness to experiment and push
Okay.
boundaries.
She's a real disruptor.
It's like she's showing them there's more to magic than they ever imagined.
Esk embodies a challenge not just to the university's traditions,
But to what?
but to their very concept of knowledge itself.
How so?
It makes them question whether true understanding comes from memorizing spells
Right.
or from embracing the unpredictable, intuitive nature of magic.
It makes us think about how we approach learning in our own world.
Yeah.
Are we too quick to dismiss what we can't explain or categorize?
It's a good question, and it's not just Esk who challenges the university.
Granny
Weatherwax.
Weatherwax.
This staunch believer in the old ways.
Yeah,
She undergoes a remarkable transformation throughout the book.
she does.
Granny's initial resistance to Esk's path is understandable.
In what way?
She represents a world where roles are clearly defined.
Right.
Witches are women.
Wizards are men.
Exactly. But what's so compelling about Granny is her willingness to adapt,
Adapt to what?
to recognize that the world is changing. And that tradition shouldn't be a barrier to growth.
So her decision to support Esk,
Right,
even when it means challenging her own beliefs,
right.
it's a testament to her strength of character
It really is.
and her commitment to Esk.
Granny's journey is a powerful reminder
Of what?
that growth often involves questioning what we think we know,
And
embracing new perspectives.
she really embodies that.
It does. True wisdom lies not in clinging to the past,
Right.
but in adapting to the present and embracing the possibilities of the future.
And let's not forget Simon,
Oh, yes, I'm
the awkward, insecure wizard in training,
right.
his friendship with Esk,
Yeah,
and his willingness to learn from her.
it's pretty significant.
It is, isn't it?
Simon's growth throughout the story,
Mhm.
it's a testament to the transformative power of open-mindedness,
And
humility.
he learns to question things
He does. He
Yeah.
learns to question the rigid teachings of the wizards,
and recognize the
recognizing that there are other ways
other ways of what.
of understanding and wielding magic.
So together, Esk, Granny Weatherwax, and Simon,
Yeah,
they represent a challenge to the established order.
they do.
They embody the potential for change,
Right.
the possibility of a more inclusive and adaptable world,
And that brings us to the heart of what equal rights is really about.
which is hope.
Hope. It's a story that reminds us
Of what?
that even in a world where traditions are entrenched
Right.
and institutions seem immovable,
Changes.
change is
It
possible.
starts with.
It starts with individuals who dare to question,
Uh-huh.
who refuse to conform,
Yeah.
who support one another in their fight for something better.
Esk's journey teaches us that it takes courage to challenge norms,
It does.
to stand up for what's right,
Right.
and to forge your own path,
Even when
even when the world tells you it's impossible.
it's a message that resonates far beyond this world.
It does.
It speaks to our own desire for a better world.
A world
A
that.
world that embraces diversity,
Yes.
challenges inequality,
Uh-huh.
and celebrates the potential that lies within each of us.
So as we conclude this deep dive into equal rights,
Right.
we invite you to consider,
What traditions, what norms, what limitations?
yes, what are you ready to challenge?
What potential lies dormant within you, waiting to be unleashed?
Remember, true magic isn't just about spells and staff.
It's not.
It's about the power of imagination,
Uh-huh.
the courage to question,
And the unwavering belief
the belief
in the possibility of a better world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration.
Looking forward to it.
But until then, keep those magical wheels turning.